What's up, party people? Yes, we won last night. It was by a way closer margin than I would have hoped, but unfortunately, that is not the topic of today's video. Instead, I want to discuss Gordon Hayward again. So a couple weeks ago, he got linked to the Lakers as part of some trade rumors. Of course, it's trade season, so much going on, but right now it actually looks like he might be bought out by the Hornets. And that actually increases the chances of him coming to the Lakers by quite a lot. So I want to talk about that, discuss what a buyout even is, and how he would fit and look like on the Lakers. I'm Jaya Tewari with Lakers Digest. Let's get right into it. So first of all, what is an NBA buyout? Right now with trade season, there is so much to keep track of between buyouts and free agency and waivers and so many other terms. I want to make it a little bit more clear before I go into how Gordon might be bought out and what that means for the Lakers. So, as we know, a couple weeks ago, the Hornets made Gordon Hayward available for trade. He is not officially announced for an official buyout yet. Sorry for saying official twice, but teams are looking out for it because he is kind of an older player, and older players tend to be placed on buyouts much more often than actually just regularly traded. I'll get into that in a second, though. But for a straight definition of what a contract buyout even is, a contract buyout is when a player and franchise mutually agree for the player to surrender a portion of their salary to be released. Since franchises or players cannot just terminate contracts at will, both sides are allowed to negotiate a buyout to grant the player freedom to sign elsewhere. The one catch is that once a player is bought out, they are released to waivers, not free agency. And once a player hits waivers, all 29 other teams in the league have 48 hours to claim this released player. If multiple teams make claims, the team that is lower in the most recent standings gets priority. But if no team tries to claim the player after 48 hours, then they become an unrestricted free agent. And from there, the bought out player is eligible to sign a new contract with their new team. So essentially, this just makes it easier for teams to save money and for players to exit their teams without having to negotiate a brand new contract and how it's going to work if they sign a contract with a new team. And the typical players that are usually bought out tend to be four types of players. First, veterans. These are often players that are past their prime. They might have some value to a contending team due to experience, but they don't really fit into the plans of younger rebuilding squads. This is kind of where Gordon Hayward falls, but again, talk about that in a little bit. Second would be players acquired in trade packages. So sometimes a player will be obtained as part of a bigger trade package, and he's just not as valuable as the other player or players that the receiving team got, and so he might just get bought out. Third are high-maintenance players that aren't good cultural fits, problematic. I have one specifically that's coming to mind here, but I won't say it. And then finally are low-performing players. Sometimes it's just an easier way to get rid of a player that hasn't quite met expectations and is an alternative to just regularly waiving that player. And so based off the fact that Gordon is unfortunately past his prime, it looks like he'll probably be put on a buyout. And not only is this really great for both the team who's trading the player away because they get to save a lot of money on not having to pay the player the rest of their contract, it's also usually a lot easier for the player to be able to sign with the new team and for the new team to save a ton of money on their own market cap and avoid luxury taxes and all that fun stuff. A lot of times when a new team gets a player off a buyout, they pay him the minimum salary or way less than what that player is actually worth because they are working around all of these salary caps and market caps and luxury tax and all those other fun terms. Right now, it looks like the Lakers have an active cap of $163.8 million, which is 11th in the NBA. This is as of August, so it might be very slightly different now. But that leaves the team about $8.5 million below this $172.3 million first apron. And exceeding that would mean sign-on and trade limits, salary matching in trades, and more buyout signings. So we don't need to actually not just trade him we could actually just trade for him and probably be fine with our money and whatnot, but it seems like a better alternative and way safer of a bet to actually get him off of a buyout because we also wouldn't be losing any major players for him. One of my biggest concerns with potentially trading for Hayward is the players we would have to give up for him, especially for a player that, again, is just really past his prime. I mean, if you look at his actual averages right now, yes, his overall average is 15.5 points over his career per game, but he has not played since December 26th. This is a super injury-riddled player. He's been sidelined since December 26th against the enemy, the Clippers, due to a calf injury. And in those 24 minutes of action, he dropped 8 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal, but the Hornets still went on to lose. But historically, Hayward just has a hard time staying healthy. Even ahead of the 2020-21 season, he's appeared in 50 games with Charlotte last season, but that was still the most games he's played in a single season with the team. So, wrong one, sorry. Basically, he's very injury-riddled, and so that was another reason I just really didn't think he would be a good fit as somebody to trade away so many of our great players for. But a contract buyout would make a lot more sense for both him and for the Lakers. Basically, once he gets put on waivers, which is kind of like a freeze, essentially, and the bidding war happens, it's like a whole mini draft, there is a lot of teams expressing interest in him, so we'll see if the Lakers even get him. I mean, even if you scroll through the comments on this very original post, there are so many people vying and guessing about where he's going to go. Teams like the Clippers, the Celtics, basically every team in the NBA wants him. And so there's also that to take into account, because once he's on, or his little freeze after he's bought out and there's the bidding war, there will be a lot of interest in him. And since it's ranked on, since it is prioritized by lowest standings, the Lakers don't have a super high chance of winning that bidding war. At least maybe right now, we could get more desperate and fall lower in the standings by February 8th because, again, this is not going to be happening for a little bit longer, and that's assuming he doesn't actually get traded this season. But I still don't think he's a great fit for the Lakers. Oh my god, I'm fumbling all of my hotkeys right now. But anyways, even if you look at his stats for the games he did play in December, he's averaging 15.7 points, which is just 0.2 points higher than his career average, and that was almost a month ago. This does put him above every player on the Lakers except for AD and LeBron in terms of points per game, but I just really do not think it is worth changing up the team chemistry in order to trade for him. I wouldn't be mad if we bought him out, basically. I just think it's kind of unnecessary, especially when, again, the root of our problems is Darvin Ham, and it's just overall inconsistency and inability to to play our winning roster. I mean, he promised last game that our original Western Conference final rotation would be starting and then changed it minutes later. That's the problem here, not our actual trades and whatnot. And based on my last video, which I'll link in the description as well, it seems like a lot of you guys are on the same page about not really seeing a need for Gordon Hayward. Nothing personal, but just not sure where he would fit on the team. He would help a little bit offensively, but he really is just past his prime. And again, we buy him out, great, we're not going to lose that much, if that, but I'm strongly against trading away somebody like Rui or Reaves or D'Lo for somebody that is just not that much better than the players we already have. So that being said, thanks so much for watching. It is going to be so interesting to be keeping an eye on all of these trades and rumors going on. We'll be making so many videos about that. Subscribe to Lakers Digest if you haven't for all the breaking news about various trades and whatnot. I've been Jaya Tewari, and I'll talk to you later.